It's the Bulls Podcast, Episode 6.
Tell you a quick story about Tony Kukoc that when he came over to the NBA. First game of the season, I asked him if he wanted to go grab a bite to eat. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, kind of, 4 hours before the game. And he orders this feast. I mean, salad, appetizer, huge plate of pasta, chicken, glass of red wine, a dessert like tiramisu, and then he follows it up with an espresso. And I'm just in awe. I'm sitting there looking at him like, Tony, this is your pregame meal? He goes, in Europe, we eat a lot, we drink a little wine, we have espresso, we go back to hotel, take big, then we go. Hey, all right, there we go.
Welcome to the Bulls Podcast, coming to you from bullspodcast.com. This is where we'll be bringing you the latest news, reviews, rants, rumors, and opinions on the players, coaches, and front office of the Chicago Bulls. I'm your host, Marcus Couch, and with me is our co-host, Mr. Wise Black.
Yo. What's up? What's good with all my Bull lifers out there, man? Man, I'm having a pretty nice day. It's been raining in Chicago like crazy these past few days, but at least it's cooled off from the 90-degree weather and all that, so I'm not complaining. Can't wait to get today's show cracking with our guests, but Marcus, I'll let you introduce the fellas.
Today is a pretty special show for us because we have two new friends of the show on, and we couldn't be more ecstatic to welcome the hosts of one of our favorite Bulls podcasts around. It's the super sexy, wonderful, attractive, and free podcast that they so eloquently call BAWL on Bulls. Dave and Chris, a.k.a. C-Dub. What's up?
Someone's been practicing, man. In the mirror?
You can tell he listens.
Oh my God, that was awesome. I might have to use that one, man. Super sexy and eloquently and all that. Yeah, okay. I like that.
Turn that to a beat or something, you know?
Man, right?
Nice little hook.
That was good, man. Man, but thanks for having us on, man. Really appreciate this, bro.
Hey, it's our pleasure. It's been
for sure.
A thrill of mine to listen to your show for a couple of years. And as I told Chris in the beginning, and I think you on Twitter, I've been listening since you guys were stuck in a closet together. And
Oh, no. It was not together. It was not together. Because if it was together, our friendship would be tighter.
That's why it was not that small.
I was all by myself. Chris be nice enough to bring me a TV tray table, to sit the microphone on. He'll throw me a snack or two or something like that, or a beer or two to talk to him. But yeah, it was just me all alone in that closet, looking at all his clothes and everything else he had in there, man. It was necessary. I'm not gonna say it was fun times, but it was necessary. So
it had comic books, that had old electronic hardware in there, man. Yeah, plenty of things to be entertained.
Well, then why weren't you in there?
Well, because I've used before. I'm just sharing, the blessings that I had.
Is that sharing your closet? Okay. Yeah. All right. See what I'm talking about? The friendship would be tighter. You see
the things we gotta go through to entertain Bulls fans. Oh. Well, we got a lot in store for you this episode, including the new NBA rules that are coming, the new 14-second shot clock, and how they call flagrant fouls. We're going to share that and our opinion on how it'll change the game. Zach LaVine is on Bleacher Report as one of the most overhyped players. Now, we all kind of had this in the back of our mind, but we'll talk about that. Hey, something brand new. It's called GarPax the Game, and it's a new segment that I invented that we're going to bring to this show. Can Lauri Markkanen's game take another step next season with the addition of Jabari Parker and a healthy Zach LaVine? We'll do our Bulls roundtable on things that the Bulls need to improve from Game 1, and we continue with more trades to think about with the ESPN trade machine. This is going to be a monumental meeting of the minds in this episode, and we'll get started right after this. All right, we are back, and the first segment, we're going to talk about some new NBA rule changes that are proposed. The owners still have to vote on this, but Adam Silver actually gave an interview where he talked about it. The first one is pretty interesting. It's the 14-second clock following an offensive rebound. So normally you go up, you grab a board on offense, you come back down, you got 24 seconds to reset, start the clock, grind it out, do what you got to do. this is supposedly going to speed up the game and possibly even make comebacks a little bit more possible because people can't just milk the clock like that. What do you guys think? Is this 14-second clock a good idea?
Yeah, it's sort of supposes the idea that there's a problem in the first place. So, like, where the sort of problem is that the game is too long. So it's fixing that problem. Is that what I'm hearing for Adam Silver?
Well, there would still be the same time on the game clock.
Right.
The game's too
The shot
slow.
clock itself is 14 seconds. I'm wondering, is this a possession game now that somebody's going to try and get the comeback and oops, we got a little bit of extra time. We can take a commercial break now. I don't know the motivation behind it.
More possessions, more shots. I don't know. I'm so used to like the, grab the rebound, kick it out to the guard, he hold the hand up, slow it down, just run something.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'm assuming that's kind of going to go away a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what is actually fixing. I don't like rules to go in just to like help out TV.
Well, for me, like I get where you're coming from, but for me, I like the rule change. I just think it will help speed the game up by stopping players from dribbling the clock down in late game situations. It just helps the team that's down by a small margin to have a better chance at winning the game. So in situations where there may be 22 seconds left in the game and the offense gets the rebound, it'll allow the opposing team to get a shot at the other end of the floor because they'll have 8 more seconds on the clock, Plus, they wouldn't need to foul in that case either. But like you said, the only negative I see with it is it won't give teams much time to reset for play. So there needs to be good and quick decision makers and maybe strong inside players out there because it'll hurt certain teams in that aspect.
When I first saw it, my first reaction was this is okay. I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it sounded good and I thought it was okay. Like you said, Chris, just getting the ball, you can't just get it and pound it out. You know what I mean? You gotta get it and you got to go. It was making, in my head, it was making coaches and teams have to be more strategic in what they're doing. Then I looked at the other side of it and it kind of seemed like you're not rewarding someone for getting the offensive rebound because why shouldn't they get that extra 10 seconds? Because the offensive rebound is much harder to get than the defensive rebound. It just feels like you're rewarding the defensive rebounds more, because if they get it, you get your fresh 24. And just because I guess he's saying because you're on your end of the court, you got the ball, you're already past the 8-second line, we'll give you 14 seconds more to, get into it. I get that, but it just, I don't know. It just didn't seem fair to me, but I like the idea of the strategy, teams having to be more strategic and having to think more and can't just, hold it. And it does give other teams, that chance to, have extra possessions. How when a team would get be up 4 with 14 seconds, usually the game would be over. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So now that kind of changes all that. I don't know. I would kind of like to see it play out, but I guess I'm on the fence about the whole thing.
Yeah, I guess less fouling too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, another rule that's being considered is they're going to simplify the clear path foul rule, which currently has 5 different bullet points, including when the ball and the offensive player are positioned between the tip-off circle extended to the basket. When there's no defender between them and the basket, then they obviously call that a clear path foul. So they're going to simplify that. There's 5 different points that has to signify what a clear path is. I think they're just trying to take that down to 2 or 3 points. So that'll be interesting. And then the one that I think is the most interesting is now the hostile act rule. This is what you call the J.R. Smith, Jay Crowder knockout special. It's being considered when one player intentionally or recklessly harms or attempts to harm another player by attempting to punch, kick, elbow, or hit the opponent in the head. Officials determine if the offending player is assessed a flagrant 1 or 2, which can lead to the ejection or the game. What do you guys think about this?
I mean, I'm old school, so, a guy punching and kicking was called personal foul, back when I was around with it. I don't know. I think a lot, I don't have a problem with how the NBA has conducted themselves with these kind of fouls. I honestly thought they did a good job, especially in the playoffs. They weren't over the moon about those things, except for that horrible LeBron call in game 1 of the finals, like that foul call. But outside of that, I just don't have a problem with officials, man, because they're gonna be bad. Like you're gonna yell at them. They're gonna do silly things that, as long as you're not overtly bad and just just completely terrible, like Mark Davis and 2 other dudes. One of them I call Trash Isley because I don't know his name. And he looked like he did security for the Isley brothers, so I call him Trash Isley. But he has a mustache. I gotta get his name, and I can't remember the young lady's name, but she was a female referee. She's completely horrible. And outside of those three, I have absolutely no problem with the officials and the calls they make. I think they'll do this justice. I honestly do. They're gonna make bad calls because that's what refs do. Refs gonna mess stuff up. I don't care what bullet points you put in on it or how you simplify things. They're gonna make bad calls. But when it comes to kicking guys out of the games, and doing things like that, they usually do a pretty good job, of saying, okay, calm down, guys. We're gonna assess this flagrant. We're gonna assess this personal. It's very rare that I've seen them give a flagrant 2. And I have totally, completely disagreed with it. It's been rare.
See, again, as far as I know, it was illegal to kick someone last year in the NBA, right? Like that was not part of the rules.
Let me check.
Well, listen, I don't know if these rules could like help a ref actually know what's going on the court. Like it's not against it's against the rules to kick, punch, and hit last year, as far as I know.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So they're just semantics. Like, what are you really changing?
Now that's only in the game. If you're in preseason and training camp, and especially if you play for the Bulls, you can fight if you want to trade.
You know what? Hey, Chris, like I was actually thinking the same thing. Even with the clear path foul thing, I feel like it's simple enough right now as it is. Like if the offensive player has the ball and he has a chance to run out on a break and there's no defender in front of him or directly on the side of him, and the defender fouls him while he's behind him and stopping him to have a chance at getting a fast break opportunity, then that's a clear path foul, right? Like it's as simple as that.
It's almost like this,
that's the way it is now, right?
It's almost like they're saying like the refs are too dumb. And so we can simplify the rules for the refs.
They breaking it down for them. Like
I want the Van Gundy rule. Believe it or not.
You want the Van Gundy rule?
Van Gundy rules. I agree with him. All this fouling before a fast break happens.
Yeah,
that is such BS, man. Like how many times fast breaks get broken up because they?
I hate that.
Right, change that. That make that a new rule. Not no Messiah. Hold up.
No. I don't want that change.
No,
that's strategy, man. That's good strategy, bro.
Strategy.
Like you about to get run out on the break? I'm stopping you. No, you can't do that.
I believe internationally they don't allow that so often.
Well, this is the NBA. They're coming over here.
If they want to massage rules, for no reason that rules already exist and pretend they're new, fine. Make a new rule actually that helps speed up the game. You're talking about the 14 seconds offensive rebound. How about like have a fast break in a basketball game for once? Crying out loud. That'd be great.
Exactly.
Curry on the break of the wing and he gets held on the shoulders. Like, what is this? I'm like,
How about an instant point? You foul somebody on a clear path, you already give them a point. It's not even a free throw.
See, this is what this does.
Hey,
see this?
You know what? That'll definitely stop them from doing that then.
That's true.
Like, that's a good idea, actually.
Oh, man, you won't see nobody foul anything unless you're up by 20.
And they're taking their freebies every time. I can give up a point for this.
Right. But see, then you might see guys' point totals go through the roof, though. Like, if that's the case, like, dudes might be averaging 40 a game, like, and get 5 free points. You know what I'm saying? Because they were running the fast break.
True.
I'm like,
imagine, though, how many guys would be now hauling ass every time to try and get that break. Legitimately, we get some runners.
That's what I'm saying. We get the fastest athletes in the world, and they can't run a fast break because you tap them on the shoulder, whistle, foul, and it stops the game. I'm like,
yeah,
it's a lot of stuff. Like for instance, how about calling traveling? How can you like dribble, walk to the side like you would get your ass whooped in the street?
This is true.
That's traveling. Now that would get called every town. Cause what park you go to, any city, you take a big 5-foot leap to the right side, shoot a fadeaway jump shot, fading to the right.
Yeah,
that's called traveling.
Instantly,
the ball is my ball.
I would watch Jimmy Butler perfect it. Remember, he would steal the ball and he would take off running before he even dribbled the ball.
Yes,
and in 2 dribbles, he'd be at the rim. From starting on the other end of the court, I'd be like, how did he get there in 2 dribbles?
LeBron too. LeBron do it a million times. And James Harden with that step back.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely right. On both of
Harden
them.
steps to the east, west, south, north. Oh, man. And it's like it's my intelligence. Like when I see, I get mad. I'm like, that's traveling. That's not clever. Like that's like traveling. That's like
James Harden is a compass.
The compass. That's the name.
The compass. That's what we're gonna call him.
Step east, west, north, south.
You know what I'm saying? Dude, Matthew Henson, man. Like, okay.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap up this conversation. I'm going to send the transcript over to Adam Silver. We're going to see if we can implement some of this stuff, including the compass rule. I think that's something that should be in contention for maybe next year. The owners can all vote on that one. We'll be back right after this break. Okay, we're back, and we're going to talk about a Zach LaVine story that was featured on Bleacher Report. He's listed as one of the most overhyped players, and if you saw Instagram, seafood restaurants, at least in the Northeast, agree with this. The Chicago Bulls are in a strange place. We're entering the second year of a rebuild, and that means a lot of expectations are all over the board. Now, some people expect them to be even worse this year, mainly Vegas, and some people think they can actually make a run at the playoffs, which is probably most of us. Now, while team expectations remain scattered, the individual expectations and that of the fan are a bit more solid when it comes to the Bulls. Wendell Carter Jr., he's got the confidence of the fan. So does Lauri Markkanen. Now, what has us all scratching our heads is the expectations of Zach LaVine coming into the summer with a new 4-year, $78 million deal. The Bulls just threw half their chip stack on red. The wheel is still in mid-spin as far as the fans are concerned. Now, is he overhyped coming into the season? Bleacher Report stated the real problem is that even if LaVine reaches his apex as an offensive weapon, there's little reason to believe he'll be a net positive player. That's because he's one of the worst defenders in the NBA. Basketball Reference said he's never posted a defensive box plus minus in positive territory in his entire career. He topped out at a minus 2.0 in his small 2017-2018 season with the Bulls. It's hard to justify rotation minutes for a player like that, let alone for $78 million. Wise, what do you think about Zach LaVine in terms of the overhype factor, what we've heard out of him all summer long, and maybe some of the criticisms?
First and foremost, I guess I can see why some people might feel like Zach LaVine deserves to be on this overhype list or whatever for obvious reasons, the contract and the poor defense or whatever. But I'm more concerned with some players who were left off of it. This guy in Grant Hughes failed to mention guys like Lonzo Ball for the 2017-18 season, put up a field goal percentage of 36%, a three-point percentage of 30%, and a free throw percentage of 45%. And he's a point guard shooting like that from the free throw line. That's a lot worse than Shaq's free throw percentage from his rookie year, which was 59%. But he also left off another guy in Luka Doncic, who everyone is going crazy over, in my opinion, and he has yet to dribble the ball in the NBA. I'm not saying he can't hoop, but the EuroLeague ain't the NBA, and they're just not the same. I just think that people should pump the brakes on him and let's see what he does in the league before we crown him as a future star and all that. And lastly, the Rockets signing of Melo. Like, I know Melo can hoop, and Paul George and Russell Westbrook ain't CP3 and James Harden, but Melo did put up the worst numbers of his career last year across the board. Like, I'm not mad at the points dip because of who he played with, but his assists dropped, his free throw percentage dropped, his steals dropped, and he even shot the worst field goal percentage of his career at just 40%. So this list is clearly baloney, if you ask me. And truth be told, Zach LaVine only played 24 games last season on a 20 to 24 minute restriction coming off of an ACL injury, where he still managed to put up 16 points per game. And $78 million in today's NBA economy isn't a lot, especially for a potential 20-point per game score. And some people forget that James Harden was considered a sucky defensive player up until last year. So people need to pump the brakes on Zach and let's just see what he can do in the full season at 100% healthy.
I'd like to throw in one more name in that list.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember this contract when he signed. A guy by the name of Alan Crabb. $18.5 million. Shooting 40% for the field. And what, 13 and 10 points? I mean, like, seriously, if you're going to pay someone $19 million, he has to be young, athletic, full of potential. That is the definition of the investment, a wise investment, and that's Zach LaVine.
Thank you.
Damn. Excuse me. Let me get in on this because I have been waiting to talk. As soon as I saw we were talking about this, I got excited. It makes no sense to me what they're talking about. How can someone be overhyped when there's no hype? There's no hype behind Zach LaVine. The only hype came was when he signed the contract. That was it. There was no hype like, oh man, Zach LaVine is supposed to be this. No, there was no hype. There's no talk about that in the national media. That talk is only amongst Bulls fans. That's the only people talking about that kind of thing. Like people like me who like Zach LaVine and think he can, really ball. Listen, I understand his defense and all those things. I get totally all that. But to say that man wasn't supposed to get that money is silly. You know who's overhyped? Who was overhyped to me? Otto Porter Jr. when he signed a 4-year, $106 million contract. And when Bleacher Report did an overrated, underrated, they had him as underrated. The years before, they had him listed as underrated. Like, yeah, get him that money. 14 points a game is what he's averaging. $106 million. He's making $26 million a year. What are they talking about? How can you be overhyped and you haven't done anything? He hasn't even played. He's been injured. He's been hurt. We don't even know what we got yet. There is no hype behind Zach. We just want to see if he can be what he says he wants to be, which is an all-star, which is a team leader, which is that kind of guy. We want to see if he becomes those things. That has nothing to do with hype. That's just him saying, man, I want to be great. What is wrong with that? Who in the national media is thinking this dude has something behind him? It makes no sense.
It's what I'm saying. All those players we mentioned, who would you be more hyped about in the future as in the future starting NBA? Crab, Otto Porter Jr. Who out of that list?
Melo,
the guy who won the contest.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead.
If there's a player you want to be hyped about, it would be him.
It would be Zach LaVine. But right. I'm saying what person is sitting there talking about, oh man, how great Zach? Have you heard that? I'm on Twitter arguing with people who tell me Antonio Blakeney is the same player as Zach LaVine. That has nothing to do with hype.
Yeah, and I don't appreciate what you said about me either.
That's his guy.
Hype. Hey, that has nothing to do with it.
Oh look, Marcus, you said that?
No, I'm just.
All right, I'm about to say.
Oh no, he didn't say that. My man Gary said that. We sat and had that kind of argument, and he just said, "I don't really see the difference." I'm like, what?
Tripping.
What? You don't see the difference? What have you seen in Antonio Blakeney? Well, he balled out in the G League, bro. You know it's G League at me. Is that what we doing?
That's hype.
Come on, now right. Now that's some hype. Now that's some hype right there, man. But there is no hype I have heard. The hype is around Lauri Markkanen. That's what the hype is around. Yeah, that's what people are talking about. That's what they're like, oh, man, we expect great things out of him. Nobody knows what they're getting from Zach LaVine. So there's no hype around him. There's only his confidence in himself. That's it.
Yeah, I haven't heard national. I don't watch a lot of national stuff, but I haven't heard anything about Zach LaVine being this spectacular superstar player. He's getting paid for having potential, which is what you're supposed to pay people for. Yeah, for potential. He's not even getting overpaid.
Right. The contract is awesome.
He will be underpaid.
Yes.
In a couple of years, yes, Zach LaVine should be well underpaid, especially if he can average 20 points per game.
Right.
Like, come on,
man. Exactly. Yes. Ridiculous.
All right. Let's shift gears. We just mentioned Lauri Markkanen. So let's talk about him for a second. Can Lauri's game take another step this season with the addition of Jabari Parker and a healthy Zach LaVine? He seems like he's not satisfied. He actually has been in the Advocate Center all summer long working out. He's been known as a workaholic. He's pretty serious about becoming a better Chicago Bull, too. He waived participation in the World Cup qualifier for Finland this fall because he just wants to train and prep for his next season in the NBA. So how will his work ethic translate and carry over to the other Chicago Bulls players? Can he work with Jabari Parker and a healthy and full season of Zach LaVine? What's his ceiling this year? Wise, what do you think?
With this one, it all depends on Fred Hoiberg. It's up to Coach Hoiberg to make sure Lauri is at least the first or second option on offense. Lauri Markkanen is far from scared, and he looks like he actually wants the ball. And based on his muscle addition this summer, he clearly is prepping himself to have an even larger role on the team next season. Now, not only does it take Coach Hoiberg making Lauri a focal point in the offense, but he also needs to have the balls to call out players that may try to do their own thing at times. Like if Zach or Jabari get the notion to take a shot when they were supposed to run a play for Lauri and it doesn't hit, or if there's no dire reason to take the shot, Fred has to pull them to the side and grill them. So if those things can happen, then yeah, I can see Lauri taking another step next season. Lauri just needs to do more of what he did in his rookie season as far as shooting while improving on his percentage from deep. I also think he has to add a good head fake to where he can take defenders off the dribble after a desperate closeout attempt or something like that. And not to mention his post game, which I'm sure he's working on giving the new bulk. So I expect Lauri to be somewhere in our All-Star weekend, if not in the All-Star game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with you. Lauri Markkanen came into this season looking like the white Karl Malone. And this dude was so in shape. I mean, I sent that picture out to everybody I knew. like he was my child. Like he was my child. You know what I'm saying? Like he was my son. Look what my boy did this summer. Look what my boy did. Like I was so excited to see him. And I watched everything I could when he played in Finland this summer. And the one thing I've seen improve in him is the confidence. And he just looks completely cocky. Like it's borderline cocky now, when I watch him play. And he's dunking on people. He's talking about them when he dunks on them. I mean, he's blocking these shots. I mean, he just looks great. But his game will definitely improve. I think when you're playing around great players, your game gets better, especially when you're a young guy. He's coming into his second year. I mean, he still has a lot to learn, and the ceiling is high for him. Like why I said, like, don't be surprised if he ends up in that All-Star game. Like that wouldn't be a surprise to me. But playing with somebody like Jabari Parker, who's unselfish, and also playing with, somebody like Wendell Carter Jr., my God. Like, goodness gracious. Like, I was speechless watching this dude. I was like, man, I was dead wrong about this guy. But
you and me both.
Man, I came on and apologized all through the podcast. I just apologized to everybody and everything. I was completely wrong. But he looks like a complete stud. So, Lauri, when you're great like that, you find your space within the team. And he knows he's going to get the ball. He knows he's the option. If he's not number one, he's number two. And yeah, like I just can't wait to see him play, man, and just watch him grow in his game.
Yeah, I totally disagree. I think adding talent around him makes him a worse player. Mm-hmm. It stifles his growth as a NBA player.
Interesting.
Yeah, and of course I'm lying my ass off.
Of course you are.
On the internet.
Nice.
Look, wow, I think you're right. That I think it's up to Hoiberg. It's like, we heard that we know that these guys are young, and all these players are young, and they don't know their ceiling, which is a good thing and a bad thing, right? Because they don't know how good they are in their place on the court. So you're going to have, these battles, who gets the ball, when and where, and that falls on Hoiberg. And I think what's been a good point is that he has to make sure that he tells the guys, LaVine, the best offensive player on the floor, one-on-one, all that kind of stuff, but doesn't mean he's the best player on the floor. Mm-hmm. So it's up to Hoiberg to make sure that Lauri gets the ball and realize that he's probably the future of the Bulls, that it's okay for him to take those shots. And I want to see Lauri be more aggressive, because we saw him last year being a rookie, young, didn't have a driver's license. He didn't ask for the ball. He just gave the ball to the veterans, said, do what you want to do. I'm going to sit in my corner and be quiet. Yep. So this year, I want to see him, like you said, Dave. He went to the gym. Looks like the white Karl Malone, which I don't know what that means. It's like redundant. It's moron.
And have you seen Karl Malone? What are you saying? Like,
I don't know. Come on. I'd say the wrong word. Anyway.
You think he bulked up just because he knows he's got to go against Portis in training?
He wants to post up. He wants to post up. Because Portis knows his role.
Like, you ain't getting none of this, Portis.
He's like, yo, you want to see Lauri's jaw? But that is a hell of a jaw. He's like two jaws fused together into one to make a big, humongous jawline. This dude, he's not hitting that dude. He's not falling down. He's not falling down. Yeah. But I like the fact he bulked up, because he wants to kill dudes in the post. Like, he's not scared of the post, LeBron. Like, he will go in the post. And you can tell, like, even in the film, like, he had the ball one hand, grab it, look around, like, all right, got to do. Back him up 3 times and shoot a favorite over him. Like, dirt.
He was playing this summer, and I saw him say to the opponent, he's out by the free throw line, and he goes, "Watch this," and took one step and dunked it in the next guy's face.
I saw that game. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was dope.
That was cold, man.
That was dope.
He does it with a smile.
Yeah.
That must be great. I tell people this all the time. I heard a quote. I cannot find it online, but some reporter asked him, "Do you just want to be like a good player that's be successful in the NBA?" And he looked insulted. He ranted on the dude. He was like, "Average? What? He's like, I want to be great. I want to be a superstar." I was like, "Whoa!" This dude went off for this dude. Like, dude, what are you talking about, dude? I want to be great. And I was like, "All right, I'm sold. I'm sold." So,
right.
Yeah. So now the last thing I'm going to say about Lauri is, I don't think it's coincidence that they brought in Rowley Alkins from Arizona to play with Lauri again. Now, Wyse and I have talked about this Savage Life hashtag that the two of them had in Arizona. And I think that's the mentality that they're trying to bring back. And Rowley looks like he's working out. He's just on a 2-way, but he'll get some time. Lauri looks like he's obviously been working out. So maybe Savage Life is back, man. That's something that we got to, as podcasters, let's try and influence that if we can, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. We need those Rough Rider Bulls back. The Nate Robinson Bulls.
Yeah.
Remember that team with Tom Thibodeau, man? I love that team. Little Nate was a beast on the floor, man. Miniature guard out there killing.
Yeah, so the spit, glue, and grease team is what I call it. That's what we was holding. I don't know who was out there, man. They was just putting anybody out there, and I'm like, "How we winning?" And we're winning, and it was exciting, and it was awesome. Like, it was just great to watch.
Hey, you know who Nate Robinson reminded me of? Y'all ever seen what is that? Friday After the Next, the Christmas one? The little short dude that was running around punching everybody in the mouth. He'd jump up and punch him in the mouth. That was Nate Robinson on the court, man. Legit, that was Nate Robinson on the court, bro. That's what we need to bring back. Savage Life, man.
I'm with it. Let's do it. I'm with it.
Yeah, all right. We're going to wrap this segment up, but coming up next, we got a special new feature. It's GarPax, the game. Ladies and gentlemen, Bulls fans, Bulls haters, and anyone in between, it's time for the game that we all love, the game that proves that 2 heads are almost never better than 1. It's our new BullsPodcast.com exclusive. It's GarPax, the game. This is the game where we read out pre-selected yet super top secret quotes from our favorite 2-headed Hydra, collectively known as the sexiest pair in sports entertainment since Brangelina, Chicago Bulls front office John Paxson, and Gar Foreman. Our contestants will guess what NBA player GarPax are talking about to earn a point. The player with the most points at the end of this 3-quote event will qualify for our annual Paxtastic Gar-Off Tournament of Champions to be held later in the season.
Yo.
First, let's introduce our contestants. He's half of the double-masted twin-turbo 2 alphas known as BAWL on Bulls over at ballsports.com. It's Chris, a.k.a. C-Dub.
How y'all doing? BAWL.
He's the dashing YouTuber tearing up the airwaves with his keen observations and Chicago charisma. It's Bulls podcast co-host, Wyse Black.
What's up, man? Y'all already know who it is. Let's get it.
And rounding up our contestants row for this incredible match of wits and wisdom, it's the other half of BAWL. It's Big Dave. What's up?
Bow. What's happening? I don't like the fact you said round up for the big dude, and you said round. I have a problem with that, but that's all right. I'm here to play. We're here to win. It's all right.
Let's go.
All right, players, let's test your buzzers. Dave?
Bow.
Chris?
BAWL.
All right, players, here we go. The first quote. Who is GarPax talking about? We are confident that his skill set, toughness, and leadership are all the qualities that make him a great fit for the Bulls. He'll add a low post element to our team that we have been seeking for a number of years.
Bow. Carlos Boozer.
Correct for 1 point.
I didn't even know you was finished, man. All right, you got that one. Let's go.
Yeah, why it's competitive now? Yeah. I was like, oh, that's how we doing it?
Yeah, you got me. Let's go.
Yes. Rounding out that quote, he said, post players with the skills he possesses are the premium in the NBA, and we believe we've landed one of the best big men in the league. Good going, Gar Foreman. Question number 2. When we saw him come out of the draft, we were very, very high on him. Oh. We had some real... Chris.
Tyrese Thomas.
Sorry.
Okay. Finish it.
We had some real good discussion about even trying to get him in the draft. We'll see him as a young guy who will develop and only get better.
Oh, I know this.
Repeat that one. Repeat it one more time.
When we saw him when he came out in the draft, we were very, very high on him. We had some real good discussion about even trying to get him in that draft.
Bow! Jarian Grant.
Yo. Chris Dunn.
Sorry.
Damn.
Good guess.
Oh, man. Am I out? Can I guess?
No, you're out.
Everybody's out.
So you got to tell us which one is that?
Cameron Payne.
Oh, Cameron Payne. Oh, come on.
Right after they traded Doug McDermott and Taj Gibson.
You digging, bro. You dig.
Yo, excellent. Great job.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
There's a good chance, a really good chance, that we'll bring him back. And for these reasons. As we get younger, it's still really important to have quality veterans around our young players. And to the man, Wyse.
Okay, it just popped in my head, then it left. But I'm going with Rondo.
Correct.
Bam. Let's get it.
Oh, this one's going to be tough. The fact that we can get him in the deal, and obviously we'll waive him, it gives us tremendous financial flexibility moving forward. The thing that we're assured of in talking to Jerry is going through this process that we'll have all the things that'll benefit us financially, and we're going to, in the future, put this back into the basketball team.
Damn, it's on the tip of my tongue. Oh, man. Hold on.
Who did they waive?
Shit. Hold up.
Oh, that's it's a guard.
Wait. Don't tell me.
I bet one of the fans already know it too.
Never spent a day in a Bulls uniform. Who did they waive?
Oh,
I know this.
I know one for sure, but I don't think it was about him.
Had his NBA debut, dunking on Shaq.
Okay, bow. I'll just say it.
Yeah.
J.R. Smith.
No.
Oh, okay.
Dunking on Shaq.
All right, Wyse and Chris.
Who dunked on Shaq?
About to make me pull up Google.
Never went to college. Never went to college.
Never went to
college. Ooh, hold up.
He didn't sign on the...
Yeah, he's not a Bulls player at all.
Dunked on Shaq.
Started his career.
My goodness.
This is a tough one, man.
It is.
I can't. I know if you said the name, I'll know it.
Come on, one more clue. Blues Clues. One more clue. Come on, use it in a
From
sentence.
the Lakers to Indiana.
Traded from the Lakers to Indiana.
Traded from the Lakers.
I'm sorry, Cleveland.
Oh, from Cleveland.
Okay, wait. Traded from
Cleveland
to Indiana?
No.
Yeah.
Traded
from Lakers
to
Cleveland? Man, it's probably something super old too.
All right, I'm calling this game. It's over. It's Andrew Bynum.
Oh my God! You see, the hell. Andrew Bynum.
Oh,
yeah, ain't nobody thinking about it, man. Nah, ain't nobody. Nobody had got that one.
That's a tough one. I won't say nobody. Somebody out there like.
Right. I was about to say. Yeah. That Shaq clue. That Shaq clue was a good one.
That was.
All right. Well, no conclusive winner. That means you all qualify for the Pax-tastic Gar-Off coming later on in the season.
Yay!
Let's game is concluded. Fans, don't miss our next episode of GarPax the Game, where you never know what GarPax will say or who they're talking about. Until next time, this is Marcus Couch saying good night and go Bulls. All right, we're back again, and we're going to do just a bit of a Bulls roundtable. I thought of an idea of just kind of talking about one thing that the Bulls need to improve on this year. I'll start it off, the bench. I kind of think that we need to revive this bench mob mentality that we had a couple years ago. Just like the starters, I think the second unit needs tryouts. And yes, that could mean, Portis needs to step it up. It could mean things like Felicio going down to the G League. It could mean the guys from Savage Life, Riley Alkins coming up and claiming what's his as far as our Bulls bench. It could mean something like Antonio Blakeney gets to actually compete for a role to be the number 2 guy off the bench. Who knows? What do you guys think?
I dig your point about the Bulls needing to revive that bench, definitely. So that's a really good one. For me, in my opinion, another thing that we must see improving on in game one is the ball movement. I think we have a nice handful of talented young players on this squad who all need to be fed. So if all the guys can come in with the same mentality, which is team first and sharing the rock, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't develop chemistry early on into the season. They'll have 2 weeks of training camp to learn each other's games and sweet spots and all that. And during training camp, Fred needs to preach ball movement with the likes of Chris Dunn, who definitely needs to get better at scoring at the rim and knocking down open shots. Zach LaVine, who I'm sure is thirsty for the season to start, Jabari Parker, Lauri Markkanen, and even Bobby Portis. The Bulls have some nice offensive players to where no one guy should feel the need to take a lot more shots than any of the others. I think ball movement will be one of the main keys for a successful season with this team.
You mentioned the bench, and Dave and I has spoken about the fact that adding Jabari Parker automatically improves your bench, improves your depth, because at some point, Jabari Parker can actually lead your second unit early in the season. You have a 20-point scorer that could lead your second unit. And the NBA has shown, if you have that one guy that can do that in the second unit, you have a very, very good team, and you upped your grade. So, and Bobby Portis also has spoken that he wants to be Sixth Man of the Year, so he's motivated for a contract. I think this bench is going to be fun. I do. The only worry I have for the team as a whole, I would say, the defense, because we mentioned Zach LaVine's issues on defense, but we have some rim protectors, though. We got Carter's rim protector. We got Lopez. Dunn could dip a little bit. But we haven't seen, since Thibodeau, sort of like a collective team effort to win a game defensively. And it'd be nice to see if this year could be a year where the Bulls could, if they can't score, you could see them win a game on the defensive end rather than the offensive end. Yeah.
As far as the bench is concerned, there's a lot of questions, but I'm more excited about those questions, than not excited. Is Bobby Portis going to be that sixth man? Is Wendell Carter Jr. going to be what I think he is? How will Jabari Parker fit in? I'm excited about all those questions because I can't wait to see how it happens. Cameron Payne question, I don't know if I'm excited about, but I definitely want to see it. I definitely want to see it. You know what I'm saying? Because he showed me something last year that I don't think he had in him, but he was competent. And that's all I've been wanting from him is to be competent. And I saw him be competent last season when he got a chance to play. So, yeah, I'm excited about the questions they have. The one thing I think that they need, and I touched on this on our show, was leadership. I don't know who's the leader on this team. And I thought that was the one good thing Jabari Parker brought. Because when I watched him in that press conference, especially when I watched him check that reporter when he was talking about Derrick Rose, I was like, oh, man, that's a leader. That looks like a leader. That looks like a guy who can be a leader of men, you know what I'm saying, out there on the court. And even when he had his basketball camp, he had Lauri Markkanen in there. He had Wendell Carter Jr. there. He had Bobby Portis there. And this is just like his first couple months being with the team. And he's doing these things like this. So I was excited to see him step into that role because I don't know who's the leader on this team. And every great team needs somebody to follow, whether it's their best player or not. You need somebody to follow. And I don't want them following Bobby Portis. That's for the second unit. And nothing against Bobby. I just don't want the team mentality to be Bobby Portis running my first team. So, but yeah, we just needed I think the Bulls needed leadership. Hoiberg, I don't know if he's the leader or will be the leader. I just need him to be a competent coach. And yeah, I think I'm anxious to see who will be that leader, because hopefully it is Jabari Parker. But if it's not somebody else, because Zach LaVine is itching to be that leader. I mean, I know he wants to be, but he seems like he wants to lead more by example, you know what I'm saying, than, put an arm around a guy's shoulder and talk to him. So we'll see.
We are going to do the most exciting feature of the show coming up next. It's the potential trades using the ESPN trade machine. All right, we are back again with one of the most popular segments and most commented, at least in our YouTube channel, regarding potential Chicago Bulls trades using the ESPN trade machine. First up, Big Dave, what do you got for us?
Yes, sir. Well, I thought long and hard about this, which was probably, I didn't realize how difficult it was to make trades on this thing, but it was really... It took some work, but one play I really have always liked when I watch him play is Ish Smith. I think when you're named after an edited curse word, I think it's awesome. And I just love watching him play. And I've always been a huge fan of point guards. And he plays the point guard position the right way. Plus, he can score. So I wanted to get him to just, because that's kind of where the area where the Bulls lack is depth at point guard. Good depth at point guard, I should say.
Right.
So you got, because when Chris Dunn goes down, I mean, I have to depend on, Grit Jr., Archie, or I got to depend on Cameron Payne. Like, either one, I'm not comfortable with. I wanted a point guard I could depend on. So I was trying to make the trade with the Pistons. It kept not working out with the money. I tried to trade a few people, but then I said, you know what? Let me bring in the third team and get this thing done. And I went and I got it done. Everybody's happy. Everybody's excited. So we got Ish Smith, and I traded Felicio and his $8 million on over to Philly. Sent him over there. And Philly sent back to Detroit Mike Muscala, who they just picked up. So we sent his $5 million over to Detroit. Ish Smith has a 1-year deal left. I think he's getting $6 million for the year. So if it works out, cool. If not, he'll play well and, be able to look good for teams for next year. But yeah, Ish Smith should be on the Chicago Bulls. ESPN trade machine agrees with me. This is awesome.
I tried to trade Felicio in the ESPN trade machine, but 2 yards of Benny the Bull fabric wasn't listed on anybody's
yeah. Should have checked Amazon. They would have did it, man.
All right, Wise, what you got for it?
The Bulls giving up Bobby Portis and swapping him with the Suns' Mikal Bridges. My thought process behind this trade is the Suns get a young, fairly proven four who has nice scoring and potential to be a top 3 player on their young team. Bobby will instantly get the start in Phoenix over Dragon Bender, who has failed to put up respectable numbers after 2 years in the league. Plus, he was the 4th overall pick in 2016, so he's been a bust to this point in many people's eyes. So now the Bulls will get a polished collegiate 2-time champion who can shoot it lights out, play great defense, which we sorely need, and he gives us a legitimate 3, which would also allow Jabari Parker to play more minutes at the 4. Like, I wouldn't expect him to start right away, but I think he fit Hoiberg's system like a glove. It would give us a bench of Cam Payne, Denzel Valentine at the 2, Mikal Bridges at the 3, Chandler Hutchison at the 4, and Wendell Carter Jr. at the 5. And I say that because I expect Justin Holiday to be gone soon or play spotted minutes. So that's why I put Chandler in the rotation over him. Plus, the small ball lineup would give us plenty of fast break opportunities, and they could play 5 out, with all of them being able to shoot. So that's my thought behind this trade.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
I don't hate it at all.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it makes real logical sense, man.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if in real life, Mikal, they'll give up him from Bobby, but you make a good point as far as Bobby being proven, and but you lose defense with Mikal. But yeah, it makes sense. It's an ESPN trade thing, so
right, and that's the whole thing behind it. Like, I actually liked Dave's trade too. It made sense to me as well.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
To a trade that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. What do you got, C-Dub?
And the second effort to get rid of Cameron Payne, I actually did it.
when he's focused.
So
How does it happen? Tell us.
JJ Barea became in pain because JJ Barea is in Dallas. He doesn't get the ball anymore. You got two young dudes in Dallas handling the ball. He wants to go. He's tired. We got Karen Payne, another Munchkin, the Bulls. 1 year, $3 million a year. JJ Barea, 1 year. About $4 million, about 30, $3,700,000 a year. So I figured, why not get a better Munchkin to play on the Bulls? A veteran who can actually run the offense, who could score possibly 20 points. JJ Barea can run an offense, actually. He actually can dribble. He's short, yes, but you gain a veteran player. You gain talent. He's more talented than Karen Payne. And also, ESPN has predicted we get 3 more wins with him, with the Bulls. So I like that. If I could get rid of Karen Payne for another short guy to match salaries, I'm getting JJ Barea. I always liked him. Even though for years he's overpaid, but I appreciate the man for getting his money. And every time I see him play, he plays hard. Yeah. He runs the offense. He's competent, and he could potentially drop 20 on you out of nowhere.
This is all fact. Honestly, Chris, you could have said you could have traded some bubble tape for Cameron Payne. I would have been with it.
We're gonna need that bubble tape for Jabari.
I'm the only one. I'm the only one that that's cool with Campaign, man. Like I don't hate Campaign. I know he ain't a beast, but come on, man.
It's not hate. I'm just saying, like I just said, like I saw him be competent last year. Like that was my first sample of him competent. But if this trade goes through, like I still would give him up for some socks right now. Like I still would.
JJ would come off in the game and drop 20 points. He'd be like, where'd that come from? You know,
yeah.
And he'd run the offense and he'd do his thing on the court competently.
Yeah.
Confidently.
I watched him win.
He just getting up there though. Like how long he been in the league?
His average, his points production has gone up every year. Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes, it has.
Wow.
Okay.
That's 2 years. That was it. I don't know. I think I lost it somewhere. He was like 10 to 11 points. So, and Jabari, could go off in the game.
It's true. He can. We've seen it. That's impressive. Yeah, I'm with the trade though. Like I would take JJ Barea. Absolutely.
And Dave, you know who I was trying to give him the Bulls, right?
Wait, who was that?
My main man. This is the way 2.0.
Oh. Chris loves Tyreek Evans, man.
Me too.
Loves Tyreek Evans, man.
Tyreek a beast.
He can play.
I dig Tyreek.
I
love to have him over there.
I just have a basketball crush on that dude's game. I don't know why.
Yeah, man. He would call me D-Wade, Dave. I'm telling you, D-Wade. Kind of. Like, man, dude, like he got to stay healthy. I hope he plays. He's in Indiana, I think, right now with
man, they gonna ball. They ball.
Yeah, they balled. They definitely did their thing last year, so they didn't get worse.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, man, should be nice.
All right, I've got a trade that you guys might even like here. This is
okay.
I've traded Robin Lopez to OKC for their backup point guard, Dennis Schroeder. You know, the guy with the blonde streak in his head?
Yes.
We all know who he is. We forget his name, though, right? So the money is just about even. Schroeder's making 15.5. He's on a 3-year deal, whereas Robin's making 14.4, and he's expiring this year. So what does it do? In this trade, the Bulls can get some more playing time to distribute between Wendell Carter Jr., Portis, and Felicio, if we can't get, a couple yards of fabric for him. Getting time for Wendell Carter Jr. is the biggest key in all of this. So in return, the Bulls get a 24-year-old, 5-year NBA vet who's used to a fast-paced system in Oklahoma City. Last year, he put up 19.4 a game, 6.2 assists, and 3 rebounds for the Thunder. So adding Schroeder to the Bulls immediately raises the bar for the second unit, if not having to compete with Chris Dunn to see who's going to be the starter throughout the year. Now, by adding Lopez to Oklahoma City, the Thunder actually get a veteran inside guy that can possibly get Oklahoma City past some of their playoff hurdles in the West. Lopez would obviously be in the Thunder's second unit, but playing off big with Steven Adams. It's a 1-year deal for Oklahoma City, who can either re-sign Robin for a vet minimum the next year, or use him for clearing up cap space that can find them a third alpha to play alongside Russell and the rest of the guys. What do you guys think about this trade?
Right, this is the best trade because I was going to try to get Schroeder on the team, and I gave up too fast. And I saw JJ Barea. I don't know why. And And I remember watching the playoffs thinking like, wow, first of all, Lopez is a good player. He would fit well on any team.
Mhm.
And I'm watching the playoffs like, man, he'd be dope. Okay, see, drop the dime all to him, hit the 15-foot jump shot, and the three even now and then, like he'd be just dope on OKC. Now, realistically, I don't think that would happen. But if this trade could happen, it would be a great trade, I think, for OKC. I think, I know they want another point guard, I guess, but Lopez would fit well on that team. I think you're right. There would be some competition between Dunn and Schroeder on the Bulls, but I'd rather have that than I have that.
Right.
Yeah. I like the trade, but I think it's bad for you and Bulls fans, because Bulls fans would hate this, because they would absolutely hate Schroeder. They would not, first of all, because of the money that he's getting. Right. Second of all, because he's coming off the bench. Third of all, he doesn't have that grit, that is loved off the bench. He doesn't have that. He scores way too much. Bulls fans would get, no, I don't think it would work out for him here, man. I would love it. Yeah. I think it's a really great trade, though.
That's a common complaint I hear amongst Bulls fans when talking about the bench. He scores too much.
Right. He scored first.
Hey, with me, I dig the trade too. I actually like this, and this was one of my favorite ones from you, Marcus. But like, do y'all think that OKC would go for it though, for Robin Lopez? Like, because I think that they want a second point guard to back up Russ.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And he's not shy. Unlike other guards that come to play with OKC, Schroeder will shoot the ball. He's like, I'm gonna do my thing.
And so I feel like, my bad. Go ahead.
No, I think you're right. That's what I'm saying. Realistically, I don't think they would do that, because I think they got the player they want. But if they have to do it, they would not cry if Lopez is on their team.
No, not at all.
True. Like, but who do they have as a backup center? Because I know they got Steven Adams.
Oh man,
New Orleans Noel. They just you know what? Yeah. Robin would be an upgrade.
Yeah,
Robin would be an upgrade over New Orleans Noel.
Yes. Robin would average like 13, 12 points.
Yes, and be physical,
easily,
be super physical.
Easily I can see Westbrook going both of them. Westbrook and just, going to the paint and just dipping them off at a little hook shot open.
Yeah,
he's like a Luke Longley thing where if he's open 15 foot, it's going in. It's money.
True. Hey, but you know what? That would piss Chris Dunn off, man. Like that would piss Chris Dunn off, because campaign, he ain't worried about campaign. But if Dennis Schroeder go up over there, he gonna be a butthole. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think that he be the 23-year-old version of Rajon Rondo, except he be the Rajon Rondo from like the Boston Celtics. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as attitude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How he got on a lot of players' nerves and all that. So I don't know. Decent trade, though.
Decent trade, absolutely.
We'll be right back to close it all out right after this. All right. Well, that does it for this episode, man. It's been a blast. Wise, what do you think about today's show?
Man, I just want to thank y'all for coming on to our pod, man. I love down-to-earth people, and especially when we can get together and talk about my favorite team and the Bulls. So, man, big up to you fellas, and keep doing what y'all do over at BAWL, man. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, man. Thanks to Big Dave, C-Dub, for joining us today. We had an amazing show with you guys. I totally look forward to the conversation that we're going to have if we make our own guest appearance over at BAWL.
Absolutely. You all can't wait to have y'all on, man. This has just been so much fun. Man, this has just been fun. I really don't have words for that. That's it. It's been a lot of fun. I want to do it. I just want to do it again. And so, you all are definitely welcome to come on our show, man, and hang with us and trip with us. And we'll do this some more.
Yeah, it was fun being on a well-structured podcast.
Yes.
And a guy who has a great voice for doing hosting game shows.
You got to make sure the fans get. I got to make sure I'm throwing the right amount of meat to our Bulls fans. It's different when you say you're the greatest show on Bulls podcasting and do 5 shows a week and give pretty much nothing, or you do a weekly show and give all quality. That's my
pow. Wow.
All right, so you guys, you can find ballsports.com is where you go. Ball Sports on social. If you're listening to our show and you're not subscribed to Ball on Bulls, hit pause right now. I don't care if you're watching a video or what you're doing. Go subscribe to their show right now. It's a must. I require it. Wise requires it. We got to do it. So also remember, subscribe to our show. Go to bullspodcast.com/subscribe. You'll get all the links to where we are. We're on iTunes and Apple Podcasts now, where the real fun and competition begins. So subscribe to us there. Give us a 5-star review and your feedback for the show as well. We totally appreciate your help on that. Next week, we're going to start reading out some of the reviews. We've already gotten a few. So make sure you get yours, and we'll be reading them out on the next episode. So until then, thanks for listening, everybody. Go Bulls.
Go Bulls, baby.
Outro music.